Hi, Aries. Welcome to your December 2018 Astro Update. It's Raina, and it seems like December for you is a pretty deep month because I'm looking at some of these house progressions. We have a lot of the energy moving to the 8th and 9th houses, and the 8th house can be the secrets of the universe, and the 9th house can be the meaning of life, philosophical, metaphysical. And it doesn't really surprise me because you have had some intense transformation. You have Uranus retrograding in your sign, and you had Uranus for 7 years in your sign. So you had probably a lot of surprising developments along the way. And let's not forget that with Pluto and Capricorn, that squares you off, and that has been its own challenging effect. And now we have Saturn and Capricorn. Well, I'm saying now, it's actually been there for a year, but both of these planets transiting your 10th house of career. And so just a lot. And now, lest I forget, we have the North Node transiting that 4th house of home and family. And therefore, the South Node is in your 10th house now. The South Node is your karmic influence that you want to really look at. I wouldn't say that some people say avoid all the things associated with that, but actually look at how certain patterns related to your ambition and career matters have maybe worked against you in the past. Aries is a very competitive sign, and you want to experience success, but it has to be looked at from a higher perspective. You cannot just go through life trying to win at any cost and indiscriminately. It's not about, and then even looking at other people as getting in your way. So perhaps there were issues based on that have come up for you. The South Node can even be talking about, karmic influences, so past lives perhaps. And in transit mode, we're looking at the issue of destiny with the North Node. So in the 4th house of home and family, this is an area that is domestic and is not about competition. It's more of an interior kind of a thing. So it's not about showing off to the world, look at what I can do, look at what I am. And it's also about nurturing others rather than just, standing in the limelight. So getting into that mode more, even if you don't have children or you don't want children, you can do that in your own way and find peace. So anyway, let me begin with the festivities here. As the month begins, we have the Sun in Sagittarius, that's your 9th house, but we also have Mercury, which began retrograding in the 9th house, now entering the 8th. So it's going backwards into the 8th house, and this means that something has come up that involves 9th to 8th house matters. It's possible that this is something to do with a legal issue that connects with inheritance, or even like a loan, maybe higher education, like a university, a college loan, financial aid, something along those lines. that was not filled out properly or something. I don't know. But you're trying to figure that out. But on the philosophical level, you may have belonged to one religion, maybe just a mainstream organized religion, but you're questioning that. You're getting involved in the tarot, astrology, and you may be wondering if that religion is satisfying enough to you, or if it answers all your questions, if it's something that really speaks to you now. So there's a mental review. That's the point of the Mercury retrograde sometimes. The next day, Venus goes back into Scorpio because Venus retrograded. Now, when Venus retrograded, it began in the 8th house and went back into the 7th house in Libra. So this could be connected to something that I just mentioned monetarily, because if there was some kind of, like, let's say it was like a probate issue, Venus is about money, and even the 7th house, the 7th and the 9th houses can relate to the law in some way. So it's possible that there was some kind of need to deal with some sort of payout that relates to an inheritance, or it could be like a loan of some sort. But it could have some kind of romantic component to it, where perhaps you were involved with somebody and the relationship got quite intense, but maybe either you or the other person felt that it was too intense. Maybe you, because you're an Aries, and you're the kind of person who's passionate, but this is Scorpio energy. And so it might have felt too claustrophobic for you, because it was like the other person may have been demanding things of you that you weren't sure you wanted to give on a very deep level. And so that created a sense of like, okay, how do I feel about this? And that could have been the review that occurred. But now we have it direct. So you have resolved something about this situation, whatever it is. On the 6th, Mercury goes direct in Scorpio in that 8th house. So another resolution, maybe about a contract or just a decision that you had to make involving your own belief system, or even it could even involve a future career, something that you want to do in the metaphysical side of things. On the 7th, a new moon in Sagittarius, 15 degrees of Sag, 9th house. So the 9th house is the God house, and it could have some spiritual theme of new beginnings, but it can also be foreign travel. It can also be university. If you had to get some kind of financial aid ironed out, you may be like, okay, I'm going to be looking at the course book and deciding which courses I'm going to get and signing up for my January semester right now. It's an expansive house. It's because it's a fellow fire sign, it's a friendly angle. And oh yeah, you have Jupiter in that house for the next year. So it's kind of a festive time, but it's also an expansive time for you because Jupiter is in its own house. I think for Aries, that gives you that little extra luck On the 12th, Mercury goes back into Sagittarius, and so it joins the party in that 9th house. Now, Mercury comes out of its shadow on Christmas Day, the 25th. So even though it goes back into Sagittarius on the 12th, it still is not to the degree it was when it retrograded, but things should be a lot more smooth running, let's put it that way, regardless of that particular aspect. And on the 21st, we have the solstice. So that is in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the winter solstice, when the sun goes from Sagittarius into Capricorn. And this is your 10th house. And so this is a time when you are experiencing heightened powers professionally. And of course, you're going to have a new moon here in early January. So this is just the first kind of, this is the introduction to an emphasis on your career, although you did have Mars here for quite a while, over a series of months, back like a few months ago. So you have had some energy here already. And of course, like I said, you have all those long-term planets, especially Pluto, but also Saturn and now the South Node. So the very next day, we have a full moon at 0 degrees of Cancer, the opposite sign of Capricorn. At 0 degrees of Cancer on the 22nd. So this is your 4th house of home and family. I just spoke about that when I was talking about the North Node. This may be a time when you become aware of what you need to be doing in regards to this area of life. Maybe you have been disenchanted with your work life for whatever reason, and you may decide to work from home. And that you realize that the commute is really taking its toll on you, or the office politics, and you want to get away from all that. And you realize you can do this. Or it could be that you are selling a house. Full moons can be endings, and you may, with all that 9th house activity, maybe you want to go and live in a different country and let go of this place where you have been living, and even your roots, kind of uproot yourself. And definitely, but it's kind of interesting because with the North Node in your 4th house for the next 18 months, the theme of home and what are roots is going to come up for you in very surprising ways, perhaps. So maybe it does mean, what can I live somewhere else in a different country and still maintain my roots and still feel a sense of where I've come from? Yeah, so that might be something that really speaks to you, even home itself. Perhaps you will find your dream house in the next 18 months. Okay, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, I am offering my natal chart interpretations for 20% off through the end of 2018. So if you want to check out my deal or my other readings, I have provided a link below. Have a great December. Take care. Bye.